Oh, hello, racing fans, and welcome back to another edition of Handicapper's Corner, brought to you by the Derby Bar and Grill. I'm Mike Heads, along with Drew Forster. We're going to go through the Sunday, October 4th races at Hastings. 7 races on tap. Should be hopefully a good afternoon. Weather's supposed to be pretty good, and we'll see how things play out on Saturday with the Sea to Sky pick 6 carries over, because there is 70,000 going into the Saturday program as of taping.
So you have to figure if nobody hits it on Saturday, we're probably looking at about 80,000.
And you get near the $100,000 mark if you were lucky enough to win the whole thing. So that's kind of cool. So it's definitely a wager to look at. 20-cent wager to start in race number 2 on our 7-race program. Let's get into the opener. The Sunday opener features a field of 6. $4,000 filly and mare maidens going a mile and a 16th. I ended up on the 4-horse Rio Hanna. She was kind of pinned down on the inside last time. Wasn't really the place to be, but she battled on, lost second late to Ziggy Meister. But I thought she did pretty good running and was the better of those two. She did lose to Shayla's Rose, who is going to run on Saturday. And
yeah, see how she runs
in that race with Cute Little Vixen and others in there. So I know she's well thought of in that race. So I think Rio Hanna got beat by a pretty good one. So I'm going to go to her to win it. Put the 1-horse Stormy Cross in for second. Untested at the distance, but still a good third place run last time. And I put the 2 Ziggy Meister, who was that was a good runner-up effort last time. She ran a good race, like the slop. Not going to get slop probably, but we're going to go 4-1-2 in the Sunday opener.
Yeah, I don't have much to add. I like Rio Hanna in here as well. Got on the lead last time. She kind of went to sleep. I don't know, maybe she didn't like the slop. As you mentioned, probably going to get on a fast track today. That race 2 back for 12.5. Would absolutely run away from this field. I put Ziggy Meister in the second spot. I thought she ran very good to get by Rio Hanna last time. And I put Stormy Cross in the third spot. I got the same horses. 4, 2, and 1 in the first on Sunday. On to the second. This is a $16,000 claiming event. 4 3-0s and up. Good race here, actually. 7 signed on for this. I went to the 4 Casino Boss out of the Mike Anderson barn. David Lopez rides. He's won 2 in a row. Granted, they were for cheaper. It took him a while to get to the races. He didn't start till July. That was a race in Emerald. Showed up here the end of August for $62.50. Won that one. Now that he's coming from off the pace, he's running very well. He's got the back class. You know, like he won an allowance race here last year. He's got the class to do it, and I think he's going the right direction. Even though he does double jump, I think this is the horse to beat in here. I put Burnham in the second spot, the Anita Bolton barn. Has not run since Woodbine last year, but he was competitive at Woodbine. Those races were tough.
Those are way better horses, obviously.
Yeah, those are way tougher horses. And Anita Bolton's stats, first time that she trains, won 67%. Layoff over 180 days, 50%. So she can have him ready to run first time, Pedro Alvarado rides. And I put Mike Anderson's other horse, It's Finally Friday. Newly acquired horse for him.
And congratulations to
gets her off the claim.
Gomo stamps her ticket to the Breeders' Cup here.
Gomo just won that.
Yeah,
as a taping, it's how when we taped it.
As we can hear here, Mario just won the.
Alcibiades.
Claiming race in here for the 3-year-old.
Is that how you pronounce that?
Alcibiades.
I was pronouncing it wrong. $400,000 race.
Gonna be a favorite
for Mario. That was a win in your in race.
One of the favorites
for 2-year-old fillies. We got Joel turn off the sound here. I put It's Finally Friday. Mike's other horse, recently claimed horse, should be part of the pace scenario in here. The third spot, Richard Hamill rides. I got 4, 6, and 2.
Yeah, I agree with Casino Boss. I mean, this horse has got some back class to win at this level. I know it has just won for 60, 250, and 8, but this horse has won races at or near this level in the past.
Yeah.
This horse is not.
He's not overmatched in
No,
here, yeah.
not at all. And this horse is going the right way. I love horses that are streaking in the fall. Running against horses that are dropping, that aren't going well, that are running at the top.
He's also a horse that, as I mentioned, he's only got 3 starts this year, so he's fresher, yeah.
I know there's a reason why he was laid off a long time, but I mean, still he's come back well. They have him going well, and Casino Boss for me is the horse to beat. I put the 7-horse Lauren 500, nice win down at Emerald. I got to respect that horse. He always runs good races, and I just like Amadeo jumping aboard. I really like Amadeo being on this horse. I think this, and I love this horse on the outside. He hates being
he doesn't.
On the inside.
That's true.
Whereas at Golden Gate here at Hastings doesn't matter. He's not comfortable on the inside of horses, and Amadeo seems to ride horses on the outside very well. And I like this horse. And I put It's Finally Friday. I agree for the Hobby Horse Enterprises and Terry Clyde. That horse is live too. I mean, if they get that horse sneaks away, that horse could be really tough. But Casino Boss for me, I agree with you. 4-7-2 in the second. On to the third race. Got some $4,000 non-winners at 2. 6.5 furlongs will be the distance, and I ended up on the 5-horse Paz Believin'. Looks like the only speed in here.
Yeah.
I couldn't find a lot of speed. Owner Clint Wilson's just been going great guns with At the Ritz and as well as Paz Believin'. I know they're just cheaper type horses, but he's having like a career year.
Yeah, he's doing very well.
For owner Clint Wilson, who used to train here at Hastings.
At the Ritz is rolling, as you mentioned.
But a good runner-up effort to This Is the Moment last time.
This is the one we got the lead last time. Was a well-meant horse and was very tough to catch. With him out of here, it looks like
things
Paz
are a lot
Believin'.
easier.
Yeah.
I just think pace-wise, Paz Believin' has to get the lead. I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4 can't get the lead. 6 or 7 are just kind of trackers, and I think Paz Believin' gets the lead and is going to control a 47-0 or 46-4 opening half, and got a big shot to win from there. Keyshawn Balgobin's been on him before, and he's back in the tack. But the 6-horse Holy Shrewd, who I think will take a good tracking trip. He's run well at long odds. He's always long odds for owner trainer Bill.
Generally, yes.
And just horse that really doesn't run bad races. He's a pretty consistent horse.
He is.
He gets overlooked a lot at the mutuals, but still continues to run well. And I just think this is a good spot for him, pace-wise. I think if Paz Believin' maybe gets beat, it could be by Holy Shrewd.
He's got when you look at his record on the year too, 5 out of 9 in the money this year. He's definitely put together a solid year for a bottom horse.
The first 3 races, Gabby Asensio, no disrespect to Gabby, but I mean Antonio Reyes is far better, more accomplished rider, and just Holy Shrewd just continues to run good races. I put the 7-horse Too Much Johnson in the mix as well. I went 5, 6, 7. I didn't love anyone particularly strongly in here. Marius Win I left out, maybe, which was a mistake.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Nan, his buddy has a bit of ability, but no pace to run at. And Goliath, I worry about no pace as well.
Yeah, I agree with you. I got Paz Believin' on top. I did put Goliath in the second spot, but that does worry me. Is that the race 2 back where he was heavy favorite? They went in 49-4, almost 50 for the half, and he just can't make up any ground there. Last time, with This Is the Moment in there and Paz Believin', there was a little bit more to run at, and he ran into third spot. But I don't know. If Paz Believin' gets out there and puts him to sleep, it's going to be he's going to be up against it to come running. I did put him in the third spot, and I got Too Much Johnson. The old Ken and Sharon Johnson horse. Good for Ken Johnson. I put him in the third spot. I went 5, 4, and 7. In the third, on to the fourth, a maiden $4,000 race for it. 3-year-olds ended up going a mile and a 16th. 8 horses signed on, and I did go to the 8. One Big Promise. I mean, a couple ways to look at this. He did get beat soundly in his most recent race. Killarney Kid won off by almost 14 lengths. But the field of 7 and One Big Promise was well ahead of everybody else. Right. I don't see any big droppers showing up in this event. He is a horse that wants to go long. Took the drop down to 4,000 last time, ran into a horse that ran away and hit on the lead. He's lightly raced. It's only his 4th start. He's my horse on top. Put Listo Warrior, one that is not so lightly raced. 15 starts for him, still looking to break through. He will do it one of these days, I feel. It could be today. Other than those 2, I had trouble finding anybody to be overly competitive in here. I got One Big Promise on top of Listo Warrior, and I threw a Certain Reality who was 3rd in that One Big Promise race. I put him in the 3rd spot. I went 8, 4, and 3.
Yeah, I agree. The 4 and 8 are probably you need 2 horses in this race if you're playing a pick.
If something happens to One Big Promise, Listo Warrior is going to win. Yeah,
it's going to win. It would be hard to go past those 2. One Big Promise, I agree. I mean, it's lightly raced. Improved last time. I know he got beat a mile and a half, but I mean.
But he was a mile and a half ahead of everybody else.
And it was an improved effort, and I like the horse. I put Listo Warrior, who ran a little bit better last time sprinting, but he's got to go along. Maybe some of his better races in California were going along, so perhaps he can turn the tape. But it's 4, 8, 3. I went 8, 4, and then I threw in the 5-horse 2 penny for 3rd. But it's 8, 4, 5 for me in race number 4. On the 5th race, $4,000 fillies and mares going a mile and a 16th. This is a tough race for me. I mean,
this is one to go deep in.
My old friend Maurice Gloria left off the ticket. I had a lot of trouble finding out who was going to, I went Clarice B. She's winless at the trip, but I just think she's a better filly better mare than a lot of these. And she ran a good 3rd. Coming off of slow fractions last time, had Zenita Rose and Curious Gal, and that was a pretty fast time, good number, got a 60 buyer, and prior to that was a nice winner. I just think the horse can go long, can get a good trip covered up behind Rachel Run and Maurice Glory perhaps. and might be the horse that gets first run on the tiring leaders. I put the 6-horse Miss Heatheridge, has been very consistent all year long. She can route, she can sprint. She hasn't really routed much this year, but if you look at her last race on form on September 21st at 2:14, she's pretty solid that day, winning off easily, defeating a few of her rivals today. So she's live. Put the 7-horse Handicapper in the mix as well. But I can see a lot of them. Rachel Run, who's a win machine.
Yeah.
I've left her out. Princess Zeta wins well at this, runs well in the fall at this, and also can run well at this distance. Flare Miss has been going well. Maurice Glory. There's a lot of.
You can make a case for a lot of them in here. Yeah.
This is the toughest race in the Sunday program. I went 2, 6, and 7, but I mean, I can see all 3 of my picks not being on the board.
I did go to one of your picks you just mentioned. Flare Miss was running much higher. Broker maiden for 25,000, and bounced around against Sabrina Fire Beauty.
Right.
Dropped into a 4-on-2, going long, and absolutely dusted and winning by 5. Came back in a 4-on-3. It was short and just won by a neck.
All out to win. That was the one thing I didn't like about that.
That's what scared you off of her.
Backed in. Moonride was backed in, and Moonride come back and run bad. And I don't know. That's what deterred me. But I can see her.
But she's a birdstone.
Stretching out.
She's she's obviously going to relish the distance. One start at the distance. That was the day she won by almost 6 lengths. Richard Hamill sticks with her. Richard and Mike are always deadly together. I put her on top. I put Maurice Glory in the second spot just because I don't see a lot of pace. Maurice Glory has proven in the past going long can be very dangerous on the lead.
I like her slot. Yeah, she can win. She's eligible. She's got races good enough to win last year.
Yeah, exactly. And just the pace in her, I don't see much pace in here. And if she gets on the lead, Rachel Run might go with her, but she, has been laying a little bit off it. If Maureen Glory gets on the lead, she could get brave and be dangerous. And Handicapper, yeah, very consistent filly. I put her in the 3rd spot. Another one I would not be surprised to see win it. I went 3, 8, and 7 in the 5th. On to the 6th, very nice race here. Optional $25,000 claiming event for 3-year-olds, straight 3-year-olds, going 6.5 furlongs. I went to the 1 Creus, another Mike Anderson horse here. Expected Mike to have a big day. 2 for 2 at the distance. Not really, the only time he had the one bad race on his form earlier on in the card. I don't know what happened to Chris Loseth, but he came back and ran a big race on BC Cup Day, only getting beat by 4. Got beat by Sedin in optional 25, and then in the Derby, got asked much too early, made the middle move around kind of the second turn, was rolling up to tough horses. Yeah, to try and tackle those horses. I thought if he just waited, made one good move, he maybe could have gotten the 4th or 5th spot. But dropping in for another 25, I like him a lot in here. The one that scares me, the 2 horses I think really you must have in here are Creus and Sedin. Sedin has been rolling of late too. He's kind of a now horse. He beat Creus 2 back and only got beat 4.5 in the Derby. He's got a fair bit of talent too, this son of Rosberg. And Mighty Fraser, who won the CHS Stale Stake, coming from off the pace. And in the Derby, he was 6th. But I see a fair bit of speed in here, so I went with closers. But they're also the horses I think are the best horses in here. Creus, Sedin, and Mighty Fraser. I went 1, 3, and 2.
Yeah. I agree that Creus and Sedin are the best horses in the race. I have no argument. And Mighty Fraser, the 1, 2, and 3 are definitely the best horses. They're coming into the BC Derby. Is that the way you want to prep your horse for a good 6.5 furlong race, coming back from 9 furlongs? Probably not.
Yeah.
This is kind of an add-on race, and these horses are generally quite vulnerable. First start after, after
a long race and a big effort. Yeah.
And all of them ran not poorly, but I mean they were overmatched.
They ran decent, but they were running hard to try and.
I just think the 7-horse, the odds are good, has a good opportunity. There's not a lot of speed in here. The 5, Every Night Blur is going to clear. The odds are good. Gets the 2 path, I think. Sits in the 2 path, and this horse ran well against him. Creus 2 starts back going along, which is what he doesn't want to do. But this horse has the good sprint run off the 5-week layoff or 6-week layoff, and I don't know. I just think it's a good time to be on the 7-horse. The odds are good. And
what I like about him too is he's a street fighter. He's one of those horses. A lot of horses when they get because he's a speed horse, and when they get pressured, they fold. He's one of the ones that seems to dig in and get tougher as the more pressure that comes to him.
I mean, he is about the 4th best horse in the race, but at least he's battling against the 1, 2, and 3 that are coming off of big defeats against tougher.
In a race where they had to really run,
not confident, shattered,
but
I mean,
vulnerable.
You're catching them, and they're coming back to a sprint. They've been galloping and prepping and to go a mile and
Everything,
8,
yeah.
and those long, productive gallops, and now you're asking him to sprint again, where this horse has sprinted already and is kind of on sprint mode, where the others might be on road mode, and this is the time to get them, anyway, is what I'm saying. I went 7, 1, and 3. I agree Creus is the best horse. Sedin is the second best horse for my money, and but I just think the odds are good. Might be the upsetter. I went 7, 1, and 3 in the feature. On to the 7th race, $4,000 open company runners going a mile and a 16th, and I ended up on the 4 horse I'm Big Trouble. Gets out of that tough starter series. He was getting a little far back in his races. Those are pretty good horses. Weinstock and Uncle. Those are dirty tough horses. This is a lot easier assignment for him. Put the 5 horse Timber Topper and the 3 horse Honestly Ossifer in behind. I think those are your next 2 horses. They're not as accomplished as I'm Big Trouble, but they're horses that can run well. I left the 1 horse Fleming's Beach off the ticket. Maybe that's a mistake, but he has to prove to me he can run long. So I'll believe it when I see it, especially when he will be a short price coming in off a win. And I just thought, for value, he might be one to go away from just because he might be the 2-to-1 favorite, and he's not running 6.5. He's running a mile and 16.
Yeah, if it's 6.5, he's coming off
he'd be
a 76 buyer. Yeah.
But at a mile and 16th, he's beatable, I think. But I went 4, 5, 3.
I got the 4 on top as well too. I think it's I'm Big Trouble's race. So he won the BC Cup Marathon 3 starts back. It was a wonky race, but he still finished ahead of some nice horses there. And he can go long. He takes a drop in for 4. He's my horse. I did put Fleming's Beach in the 2nd spot because there's question marks. He's coming off a huge race, a 76 buyer, ran 1:17 and 2, but it was sprinting. Now we go long. Can he? I don't know.
That's the question mark.
It's tough to tell because you look back, like he ran a mile 16th, but it was in an optional 35 against Senior Rojo in hopes, tough to really grasp, if he can go long. But I did not want to leave him off the ticket, so I put him in 2nd spot. And Texas Buccaneer, Richard Hamill, Mike Anderson, 6 wins at today's distance. I put him in the 3rd spot. I went 4, 1, and 2 in the nightcap. That'll do it for our analysis of the Sunday, October the 4th card. Up next on screen will be picks. Mike, as always.
There we go. I went to the 4, Rio Hanna, 4, 1, 2. Race number 2, I went to the 4 again, Casino Boss, 4, 7, and 2 for me. The 3rd race went to the 5, Paz Believin' over the 6, Holy Shroot, the 7, Too Much Johnson. Race number 4, I went to the 8, One Big Promise, 8, 4, 5 for me in the 4th. Race number 5, I went to the 2, Clarice B. Toughest race on the card, though.
Yeah.
The 5th is a tough one. I went 2, 6, 7. 6th race went to the 7. The odds are good over the 1, Creus, and the 3, Sedin. And the 7th and final, I went to the 4, I'm Big Trouble. 4, 5, and 3 for me in the finale.
On to my picks. In the 1st, I agree with Mike. I'm on Rio Hanna, the 4 horse over the 2 and the 1. In the 2nd, the 4 again, Casino Boss over the 6 and the 2. In the 3rd, I went to the 5, Pass Believin' over the 4 and the 7. In the 4th, I went to the 8, One Big Promise over the 4 and the 3. In the 5th, I went to the 3, Flare Miss over the 8, Maurice Glory, and the 7, High to Guai. In the 6th, very nice little 3-year-old race, I went to the 1, Creus over the 3, Sedin, and the 2, Mighty Fraser. And in the nightcap, I'm back agreeing with Mike on number 4, I'm Big Trouble over the 1 and the 2.
Well, that'll do it for this edition of Handicapper's Corner. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Hopefully you've enjoyed our analysis of the Sunday program. Hopefully get you some winners. Should be a good day. 7 races on tap. A reminder that next weekend we race Sunday, Monday. There's no racing next Saturday, October the 10th. We race Sunday, October the 11th. And then, of course, the holiday Monday, Thanksgiving, October 12th program, which will feature the BC Premiers, the Ballerina, the Ascot Graduation, and the Fantasy for 2-year-old fillies. So it's 4 stakes races over, what is that, 150? There's $350,000 on the line at least in those 4 stakes.
And a lot of championship decisions.
That's right. Could be the final chance for horses to stake claim to divisional honors. So should be a lot of fun. That's a week this Monday, the holiday Thanksgiving Day program. Well, that'll do it for this edition of Handicapper's Corner. On behalf of Drew, thanks everyone for tuning in. We really appreciate it. We'll see you next time here at the Derby Bar and Grill.